Good morning, everybody, and welcome. This is your Info Entertainment Reviews, IER Vibes channel. Shout out to youtube.com. Special shout out to everyone who has just recently subscribed in the last couple of days. Thank you all so much. I have subscribed back as I always do. Definitely support. Next update, I will be mentioning a few of you who do have a channel, and you will be hearing your names in one of my latest next videos. So lots of love to everyone. Now let's get into this real quick. I just recently was out and about, and so while we were at the park, on the way back, check this earthquake real quick, the update. Canada got bombarded. Now I did say recently that I did not see anything to strike up in Canada. Very rare does Canada get any earthquakes. Now this is more closer to the California borderline. Basically, you can start from Washington, and of course you have Oregon and then California state. Canada got hammered with a bunch of big earthquakes. I highly did not expect at all whatsoever. Now I did expect Alaska to get a possible 5 and above magnitude, possibly even a 5-6. And though Alaska, as I was mentioning, is still on a full 24-hour watch now, because we were down to the full 48 hours. Now we are down to a 24. Alaska right now, the alert has definitely have stepped up a notch. So before I go even any further, take a look at the amount of earthquakes. Now these are all 6 and above magnitude earthquakes for the whole coast, from Washington all the way towards the end of California's borderline between California and Mexico. You guys all on that whole coastline are certainly on a high alert right now as of this full 24 hours ahead. I doubt it's going to be 48 hours as of from now, from this update. California definitely going to be receiving at least at the minimum, at a 90% chance, the minimum of a 5.0. This could strike anywhere from Washington's coast, Oregon's coast, or even anywhere along the coast of California. There is a even greater chance of multiple quakes. They could be seeing definitely 4.2s, 4.3. If anything more above the 5.0, as I was mentioning, it could be about maybe 2, possibly the maximum of 3. And they could be scattered out. But the way how things are looking, this is not looking well at all. This just changed the whole prediction part of basically the way how we were mapping this out when I was giving you all your update. So far, I have been very well prompt on these and right on point. Though, since this Canada, out of nowhere, you all have been seeing, those of you who've been watching every day, have been noticing how Canada has been certainly well quiet. It's only been Alaska, and then Russia got hit as well with a 6 and above magnitude. But take a look here. Let's just see what we got going. This is almost a 7.0 magnitude, and I bet you, and I can guarantee it, this was indeed a 7.0, because this is how it always happens every single time when an earthquake strikes at such a magnitude. And it has struck right along through the Cascadia main plate zone. This is right here, super shallow, 6.2 miles in depth. This is a very shaky quake, and I say Washington felt some of it, and I wouldn't doubt that California even felt some of this earthquake as well. And it's not just this one. This is listed at the 6.8 magnitude, okay? And usually, as always, when we get the data, for some reason, I don't know why, I can't explain why, I don't ask on the other ends. So whatever we get, this is what we get though. But you always good to give that extra point of the numbers due to the fact. So I'm going to list this as a 7.0. Let's zoom on out and let's get back over here on this one. Now, this one right here, we're looking, as you can see, that one's a 5.0 magnitude, even though it was listed at a 4.9, but that was a 5.0 at only 11 miles in depth. Alaska, you can already see is getting hammered, and is following the exact same pattern from the last few days. As I was mentioning, they're starting to scatter out. This is going to be something. As of right now, I'm really surprised that there is no tsunami alert still as of yet. It's going to be interesting for the next 24 hours, folks. This is just really insane. This one had certainly caught me off guard. Before we finish up on this part of Canada's coastline, this, of course, is not on land. This is out on the coast. But clearly you can see how it struck right on the main plate zone. Now let's take a peek at this earthquake here. This one's the 3.2, 6.2 miles in depth. And this is out on the coast of Oregon, not too far away. This is what's going to cause a doozy effect. What I mean, sending a shockwave. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. And it does not help when you have Mexico. Let's get over here real quick. When Mexico is getting hammered and is certainly indeed following exactly as I was mentioning. I'm surprised there has not yet been a 5 and above magnitude to strike. I'm even eerie just because there could be a possibility of a 6 magnitude striking within 48 hours as of right now. The amount of activity happening right here, there's tons of 4s and tons of mid 3 magnitude quakes. You can clearly see right here, the ones in the darker yellow colors, those are the 4 and above. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and take a peek because these ones we should do pay attention on. 4.1 magnitude, following by right here. I believe that is going to be about 3.5, 3.3. That's a 3.9. So that is indeed another 4 magnitude quake. Right here we have this one. I believe we looked at this. This is a 4.1, 60 miles in depth. Zooming on out just a little bit. Here's the other one that was a little bit further out. That was a 4.0, 8.7 miles in depth. And then also we have this one right here. And ever since last year's quake up in Mexico, you guys remember that big one, which was basically a near 9 magnitude earthquake, the biggest that so far, which surprisingly California did not get affected by the quake, shockingly. This was indeed the area that got shredded apart, opened up. And then you guys remember when oceans were starting to basically just disappear off the coastlines, Florida, etc. Water is going to go somewhere. Water is still disappearing all over the world in different places. And there's a lot of parts of the ocean that has literally with big gaps that had opened up because of these earthquakes. Mind you, remember when the Fukushima incident, of course, they try to blame peoples, and it's not the peoples, it was Mother Earth that caused such devastation. And it's still going on. A lot of people don't think about that. It's beyond imaginable of how much radiation is in these oceans. Of course, a lot of people figure clearly doesn't bother hardly any people. Anyhow, we'll get into another topic on that. Now, right here, here's some more quakes. I mean, they're getting hammered, you guys. So between the amount of activity striking within here and over here, you can already tell California is starting to definitely light up with some earthquake seismic right here. Mother Earth is definitely giving something back out of these multiple 6 magnitude earthquakes. So you guys, this is not good. I'm going to be certainly shocked if we do not see any 5, or if not anything beyond greater than what I'm mentioning in 24 hours, the maximum. I'm going to say 48, but I doubt a 48 hours it would take that long. So by the following night, as of today, we could see by the end of the day, going into tomorrow and finishing that day up, we just may see that 5 and above. And guys, get ready. Anybody who is in California, and if you're watching this and you're listening, or if you know anybody in California, well, you might want to give them a message, email them, or give them a call. Just let them know, hey, you know what? Keep a watch out, because there could be a 5, even a possible 5.6 to strike within 24 hours. Now let's get back into these quakes, following by that 7.0. Again, I'm putting that on the scale of a 7.0 because more likely that's what that was. After that 6.8 that's listed, again, 7.0 magnitude earthquake. After that quake, there was a 6.7 at 6.0 miles in depth. Not too far away. And then again, another quake at a 6.6 magnitude earthquake. And then again, another earthquake striking. These are all within the same area. These are all right next to each other. A 6.5 magnitude earthquake. These are all 6 miles deep. Now, you have this one. You have this one. That's already, you put together these two quakes. Imagine the amount of force with the two together if these struck at over a 12 magnitude. Imagine what that would do. People have said it's impossible. People have mentioned you're crazy. You guys, come on. Just like they said, the maximum hurricanes could be only a category 5. I'm always ahead of everyone, and I'm not a scientist. I'm not a professional. I just naturally know. I guess this is why I do this. This is why I pay attention, and this probably, I guess, is just something I can't explain. All I could tell you is I could put myself and I could go back and forth with anybody, even if you're a professional. We could go debate back and forth, and I always happen to prove someone wrong. You could have a category 7 hurricane in a worse scale, and it is possible. When it comes to these quakes, yes, it's possible. And the worst case, which never has been ever numbered ever in history, imagine about 13 to a 15 magnitude quake in one. Just one. The quake to hit at about a 15 magnitude. That, I believe, is a lot hard for a lot of people to think. Indeed, it is. Now, between these 12, and then you put these other two quakes together, that is over 24 magnitudes. 24 magnitude. You put all of these 4 earthquakes together, that is close to nearly 25, adding the extra digits within. That is huge. That would pull the ocean floor apart and then some. All the states within near these coastal states would be highly affected. That includes all of California, Oregon, Washington, of course. You have Montana and a couple of the states within near that area. Arizona would be affected. Vegas would highly be affected. And even Mexico, that whole area would be affected at that amount of magnitude. It's pretty bizarre to go and just come out and say, hey, imagine putting these together. It's pretty gnarly. It really is. This is going to be a very big event coming around, especially for the next 5 days ahead. We pretty much already are done nearly with these 7 days, the way how things are going. So we got a massive 5-day watch. There's been a lot of stuff going on out of planet Earth, up in space, and some crazy space weather. We will be getting into that as well. So anyhow, as far as any more earthquakes for along the Canada coastline, there could be a lot more trembles. We believe we'll be seeing, if anything, some multiple 4 magnitudes and probably even 3s around within through that area. And as far as up over here, this island in this area was highly, I know, well affected. I know this island definitely was rumbled. I don't know if people do live on this island. It could just be a nice, good getaway spot. But let's go ahead and zoom in. And it looks like there is some, there's roadways, there's, you name it. So I believe there are some folks who are staying up on this island. I'm trying to get zoomed in very well enough. My phone is running a little bit goofy today. So it does seem to look like there are people who are on this island. We'll get into that another day. I don't want to keep anybody any much longer. Anyhow, this is breaking, and this is just truly unbelievable with what is happening over here too. Let's take a look at this. Texas got hit with a big, good size 4.0 magnitude earthquake, striking at 3.32 miles in depth. And then we have, of course, usually the Oklahoma, 3.11 miles in depth. What is it with these earthquakes? You put these all together. Now realize this, every single earthquake that we are looking at is all super shallow. Every single quake, every one of them. These, and one thing not to forget to mention, Montana, as well Missouri, Idaho, Wyoming. You have the caldera. all this area is probably going to be seeing a little bit of an increase in seismic activity over the next couple of days, especially for tomorrow. Now, California, you can see clearly along this whole coastal area, you guys, they are really truly getting hit with a lot of activity already. These are 2.59, nearly 3. That's 4 miles in depth. Again, super shallow. They're all well close. 5.59 miles, 2.5 magnitude earthquake. Following by this one. Also, take a look at this. Even though these are 2 magnitude quakes, but we are still going to go ahead and take a peek because of what is just ahead around the corner to come. 2.55. Negative 1.5 miles. Here it goes again. This has happened once before. And I made a joke about this. I was being sarcastic, but it does not make sense. When you are negative in earthquakes, how can you be negative 1.5 miles negative? It's not an airborne earthquake. Or is this a theory? Could it be possible? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to hear what you guys have to say, because in my terms, there's no such thing as an earthquake that strikes at a negative 1.5 or negative 3.2. That does not make no freaking sense at all whatsoever. I've seen the earthquakes where they were at 0.0 miles deep. Right there on ground. But when you go into the negative like this, you're seeing it too. This was last year's update when towards the end of the year when I saw this, and this had happened over within a couple of days grace period. It's just clearly impossible. Doesn't make sense to me. So I guess, folks, viewers, you guys, if you come, I guess we have earthquakes that are airborne. Pretty interesting. I didn't know Mother Earth could throw earthquakes that are just in thin air. Pretty cool stuff, eh? Anyhow, moving on. Let me know in the comments down below. But if you all get the points of what I mean, you guys clearly understand where I'm coming from on this. It really is something. Negative 1.5. That is just nuts. I don't see that. Now, it does sense. He's great in his work. I follow him. He's amazing. But again, I'm pretty sure you go ask him negative 1.5 miles negative, then I'm pretty sure that might not make sense. If it makes sense to you too, Dutch, well then I don't know where to say and other than airborne quakes. I mean, it's at least like something from that movie with whatchamacallit, that comedy movie. The guy just super outgrew himself. He was super huge. You guys, you know what movie I'm talking about. It was super funny. Eddie Murphy was in it. Now, if you were to rip a big bubble like he did, well, then that is an airborne earthquake, and it probably wouldn't smell good. Anyhow, we all gotta have some laughter during this. This is really checked up stuff happening. Mexico on a high watch. Let's get this done real quick. Mexico, high alert. We will be seeing no more than a 48-hour grace period of minimum 5 up to a 5.7 magnitude, if not 1, possibly 2. Coming on over here, we're going to go up to Trinidad, Tobago. Got a good friend that lives out there as well. And a shout out to Tobago, Trinidad friends. Much love, and I hope everybody is safe. Ever since all of the flooding that has been going on, it's just really insane. Some viewers have even mentioned to me, there's a couple videos I checked out how they were saying, like, and the videos did look like exactly what they were saying. It looked like water was not just coming down because of the rain. It looked like water was literally seeping through under the land and coming up above onto land. The wave is just forming. It is just nuts. Right now, I guess the water is still receding back, but it's not over. They are on a high watch for multiple 4 and at the maximum of a 5.6 to possibly strike. If not on, it would be near Trinidad, Tobago. So you guys out there do need to keep a watch. We will read those quakes right here in a second. Ecuador got hit with a 5.1, 43.88 miles depth, following by a 4+ magnitude earthquake. And then you got over here. Now, this you can see near Bridgetown, okay? They got struck with a 4.2 magnitude quake, but then right here is where things are going to start loosening up. You can clearly see Trinidad, Tobago, you guys, with a 5.1, 18 miles deep. Following afterwards, there was another quake This is going to be sending a shock too, because take a look. Trinidad is sitting, the whole land together is like right in the center part. This whole plate zone runs right through the center of Trinidad's Tobago Islands region. 5.2 magnitude. That is over 10 magnitudes. And guys, that is just nuts. If anything of that magnitude would strike at the amount of that kind of force, look at the patterns that are going on. This is what I'm saying. I could guarantee it, over the next 5 hours after this update, we're going to be seeing a lot more activity as well. Things are definitely strikingly ripping up, and here are some other bigger quakes, as I was mentioning before. I thought I just saw a double quake there, but I guess not. Now, these are all 4 and above magnitudes, despite with this one right here. And again, this is going to loosen things up even more, because it is the most unstable area on planet Earth as of what I've known, despite over the San Andreas, the New Madrid, Cascadia Fault, and all the other known listed quakes faults, especially this area, not including the ones that are not listed. 5.1 magnitude, 20 miles in depth, and we have a multiple amount of quakes right here, and these are all within force. This is almost a 5.0 at 385 miles deep, and a lot of these quakes seem to be pretty well deep as well. There's another one with multiple quakes striking at 4.7. As guys, things are just lighting up. I don't know what to say. Do want to give a heads up to everyone out there in New Zealand. Possible 5.0 within the next 72 hours. Do keep a watch out. It could strike anywhere within through this area, which is Wellington, New Zealand. You guys might be seeing some quakes, and if anything, hopefully you get them off and over here and not just on land, at least off the coast area. Things are just really kind of out of whack now. Now, Australia has been starting to kind of get a little something here with a 2.9, more likely 3.0, and is only 8 miles in depth. I don't certainly see any kind of quakes ever bigger than that to strike Australia, but though you just never know. Things are really just getting out of hand now. Indonesia, you are all still out on a high watch as well. You guys are going to be put on a full 48-hour watch alert, just because ever since the amount of total 24 magnitudes and plus that had struck Canada with all those quakes put together. These were all 6 and above magnitude quakes. Right now, we have a circle that is just zigzagging all the way through, in and out, nowhere to stop. And it's going to trigger a lot more quakes to come globally along this whole main plate zone. And why? Because take a look again. Things are moving up, and it looks like we just got a couple more earthquakes along California. We did. Let me see. So this, I may always make sure that it keeps me updated. And you can already see clearly there was just a couple of new quakes right there in the green. This is going to be really nasty over the next few hours, and as well the following 24 ahead. Canada, you're still on a high alert too as well for this high 24-hour watch for minimum 5.0, and not just 1.50. Gonna probably possibly see 2. Japan is starting to wake up as well. Let's go ahead and just kind of get an estimate of what we're looking at in this area. 4.4, 41 miles deep. And then also we have another one at a 4.6. This was almost a 5.0 magnitude earthquake. And then we have that one at a 4.4. So despite with that, we will possibly be even seeing in 24 hours, if not sooner, a 5.0 to strike along anywhere through Japan area coasts. And then we have this quake. This is already making its way over there. Take a look at this at a 4.7. I'll definitely list that at a 4.8. And then also over here, take a look at this one up in the Philippines. You guys are getting lots of activity to come, and this is not over either. You guys are on a 48-hour watch for some more quakes ahead. Do keep a watch out for a possible 5.3 magnitude strike along near the coastal area of the Philippines. So if you are in the Philippines, do let everybody know and just kind of get embraced for this possible quake on your 48-hour watch. Now, heading up over here towards the European side, they are getting hammered with the amount of seismic activity, and yet nothing as far as any alerts that I feel I should issue, just to give everybody a heads up. And this is including Italy, Turkey, Greece, and as well, you have Roma. Don't forget, you have Italy, All this whole area, you guys, from basically Turkey, near Turkey area, all the way to this whole outer end up to the other side, which you have Portugal. Definitely indeed on a watch for a lot of multiple 3 and above at the maximum of, I'm going to say about a 3.5. I don't see anything within the 4.0 or above, range to strike as of yet. But then again, this is another new update that we are giving just because the changes. It changed this whole pattern. It shifted everything around because of the quakes that had struck in Canada. So now everything is on a whole new path. Gonna be interesting. Guys, be safe, heads up high, peek around it. This is IR Vibes. Love, live, smile.